Hey everybody, Ashley Page here. Thank you so much for joining us on our educational vlog today. Our topic is the Payroll Protection Program Act. Did it really work well? And the answer is yes, it did. It gave us a lot of really nice stimulus right on the backside of COVID-19 that has paid off, particularly over the last couple of months. And let me give you some data on that. But first, I will say there's about $100 billion left in the program. Congress has extended that till August the 8th, so not all of the money has been used yet, but most of it has been used. And let me give you some interesting statistics about how well it's worked. You define small businesses in the United States as any company that's got less than 250 employees and less. If you look at how the Payroll Protection Act funds were distributed, in every single U.S. state, 72% of the payrolls for businesses of that size were covered. To me, that's a staggering statistic, very high. So if you look at the state of Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, on average across the United States, that is a very significant figure that shows us that most owner-managed businesses of that small business size were impacted. There were some states like Florida that skewed the average up a little bit. They actually had 96% of their businesses that were small that were covered. But on average, every single U.S. state had 72% covered. So the point of that is the funds got out there and eventually got widely dispersed. That's point number one. The second point that we'll mention to you is that 110 industry sectors, 110, saved at least 100,000 jobs each. So you could do a quick multiplication there. That's a lot of employment saved. And the compare and contrast of that is that when we came out of the backside of 2008, we didn't aim a lot of that stimulus at employment. The Payroll Protection Act sort of learned from that and aimed a lot at employment. So that is a vast amount of industry sectors that had a lot of employment saved. That's second. Third, the average loan size for payroll protection was 106,744. So for the most part, after all of the programs settled out, what the average loan size showed you is there were a lot of owner-managed businesses that were small that needed it that took advantage of it. That's not an overly large loan size. So if you can imagine a company with 25 or 30 people, that would sort of translate itself into an amount that was used for payroll. You could use some of the PPP funds for other things, buy equipment, pay rent, but there was a percentage restriction on it that started at 75%, was lowered to 65%. But that loan amount clearly suggests that that was aimed at payroll. The fourth and final thing that we think is really important going forward is there was a lot of what we call intellectual capital type of employment that was saved. Let me give you a good example of that. A good example would be an architectural firm or a structural engineering firm or a physician's office. Those are service sector that really have a good educational component in it, high level of income by those folks. Why is that important? It's a multiplier effect in the economy. So one major sector of the 110 that we talked about was this professional knowledge-based sector. Those individuals usually are highly paid, which means they're going to turn around and spend a lot more into the economy, make that multiplier better. But here's the other good thing about that is we've switched to COVID-19. On average, about 78% of that workforce can work remotely by Zoom or, but like we're doing on the vlog today. So that was an economy that not only will spend a lot of money or multiplier, they'll spend a lot of money, but it's one that can work going forward in a COVID-19 world. So across the board, we would say the PPP program was successful. What you'll probably see coming behind it is a little bit different program, the Main Street program that is one the Federal Reserve is doing. There are several differences between that and the PPP as we close. The main difference is the Main Street program that is coming in behind the PPP program is really for more medium-sized and larger companies. So the takeaway today, the PPP worked. kept a lot of employment in place, kept a lot of spending in place, and that was one of the major improvements that we made that we didn't have in 2008. We didn't aim enough of that as employment we did here. So hope that data is interesting to you. As always, feel free to call us at the office. We always love hearing from you, or contact us on any social media platform. Always appreciate your interest in sharing these, and we hope you have a great rest of the week. Thanks.